Hey, welcome everyone. My name is JR and I'm the founder and owner of Business Leaders Network. And we're here with another round table where we want to highlight some amazing entrepreneurs that I want to introduce to all of you guys, where they'll give a chance to be able to share more about who they are and what they do. We're going to talk about some business growth strategies for 2026, what's working for us, some testimonials, and hopefully give you guys some nuggets that can help you guys start, grow, and scale your guys' business team further. But more importantly, so you guys can make some new connections with the people that are on this call. So please take some time to listen, to be able to grow, to connect, and then at the end of this interview, then you guys will have a chance to be able to connect with each one of us. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for jumping on here, and really glad that you guys are here. And for most of you, this is my first time hearing more about what you guys do. So I am going to be a listener just as much as every other person that is going to be taking this all in. So excited to learn from you and to hear more what you guys have going on. And so to start out, I want to ask the first question, and we're going to go to Mr. Michael Fritz. So Michael Fritz, not Michael Fritzius, but Michael Fritz, why don't you tell us more about who you are, what you do, and what are you doing to make an impact on the world?
Yeah, sure thing. So I'm Fritz. I'm based out of St. Louis. I run Podcastify Me, which is an agency that focuses on getting people booked on shows and turning those bookings into business. My wife, Charlotte, and I have got four daughters. We have another business together that we do, and all of our daughters are entrepreneurial minded. Wonder of wonders. We're breeding them to be business owners. The impact that I've got on the world is legacy focused. We want to raise a godly family. We want to make sure that we're impacting the world for good, but we're also continuing to surround ourselves with people that just need encouragement. I have the spiritual gift of encouragement. I want to make sure I'm giving people permission to just go forth and be awesome and not feel bad about it and own the space that they're in, stand in their power, and understand that, yeah, they've got big things that they can do with the world too, and they can absolutely make a huge impact as well.
Yeah, it's been really cool to watch you grow in the podcasting world. And for anyone that's out there trying to get their branding out in the out into the world wide web, podcasting is one of those crucial things that we need to be able to do. And so I've been glad to have the honor to actually watch you grow and be able to help people in the podcasting space. So it's been really cool to see you flourish there. So cool. Well, Mindy, same question. Tell us more about who you are, what you do, and what you're doing to make an impact.
Yeah, so my name's Mindy. I live in the Oklahoma City area. I do a lot of different things, but I completely specialize in small business. So I do everything from bookkeeping services to business education. I also own an online business platform where I work specifically with new small businesses who are trying to get off the ground. I want to hand you an owner's manual that no one gave you when you started your company. So starting a business is hard, and all of us on this call know that. If someone gave us a manual 5 years ago when I started my original company, I would be in such a different position than where I'm at right now, right? So that's what I want to do. That's the legacy that I'm looking to build. That's the empire I'm looking to build. I'm a servant at heart. I want to support as many small businesses as possible and let them know that you don't have to do this alone, that there are people who are willing to help you and support you and mentor you and put you on the right foundation and platform to actually get your business built where you want it to be. So that's what I do.
Yeah, I forgot to ask Fritz the question I'm going to ask you, and we'll come back to you, Fritz. But what was that pivotal moment that made you want to start doing what you do?
Well, the big one, I got laid off in 2020. So that's actually when I started my company, the Honeydew Checklist. But my academy that I go and I teach people, it just came to every single company that I worked with, like they didn't have certain aspects of their company set up. And for me, it was a liability issue, right? Like I understood if you don't have this stuff set up correctly, you're going to get in a lot of trouble, right? Whether that's bookkeeping, whether that's your contracts, whether that's your insurance policies are not providing enough coverage. And so for me, it was I every single time I'd onboard a customer and we start having these conversations and people were not setting their stuff up right, I'm like, something has to change, right? Like, because, and I say it every day, I'm like, you can walk in and I want to be a hairstylist. Well, that's great. They're going to teach you how to cut hair and to do a perm, but they don't tell you how to run a business. And that is every single company across services, across products. That is the piece that's missing. So for me, this is now my mission. My mission is to take care of these people. So
I love that. Hey, Fritz, let's go back to you. What was that pivotal moment that got you started doing what you're doing?
Ego and vanity, and I'm not kidding. So back in 2019, BC, before COVID, I launched my first podcast with the intent of I've got an opinion and the world needs to hear about it. And I got 3 episodes in and was like, this sucks. I don't want to do this. I'm just talking to hear myself talk. But then when I started having guests on the show and I started realizing they're sharing things with me that they have told me they've never shared with anybody before, there must be something to this. I mean, yes, I'm an encouraging person and people feel like they can unpack, but that podcasting medium just opens up hearts. And I'm like, well, what got me started isn't what kept me in there, obviously. But yeah, that was the pivotal moment when I made that switch over to, oh, I'm meeting some really cool people. Let's press further and see how far this goes. I'm still pressing, I'm still learning as I go.
No, that's really cool. Love that. And Melissa Cha-Ching, tell us more about who you are and what you're doing and how you're making an impact.
Awesome. Thank you. And it's awesome to meet everybody here. And Mindy, I love what you're doing because I'm a little bit in the realm that you are in, and it's such important work. Um, so what I do is I help small business owners with both their business and personal finances so that they can retire when they desire. And my mission is building a culture of emotionally, financially intelligent change makers creating joy. So I feel like when you have your money handled, it gives you a place of safety and security that really gives you the opportunity to have joy in your life in the world. And that's really what I'm up to. And why do I do what I do? I feel like I don't know if you guys have heard the term ikigai, where so it's like where you bring all of your passion, what you're good at, where you can make money together. I have a background of over 30 years in accounting and finance, working in public accounting. I've been the CFO of organizations from like 2 million to $100 million. And in 2017, my mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And what I realized was I'm an only child and I had to help my dad navigate that, but I had to help him navigate their personal finances and realize, whoa, I have this background in finance with organizations, but I don't know a lot about personal finances. And my dad was an entrepreneur and he hadn't really saved for retirement appropriately. And they assumed my mom would way outlive him. And I got really interested in that. And really feel like I bring those skill sets together that I can help small business owners. So, as an entrepreneur, Mindy, like you were saying, it's like you wear many hats and you get into business because you love to cut hair, but you don't really know anything about the financial part. So I partner with people so that I can make the best use of their money and they can do what they're brilliant at. And I can also make sure that they're on track, that they're able to retire when they want to, and that they're set up to really protect themselves in their money and don't end up in the same situation that my parents did. So did I answer everything? I
You
think I got
did,
it.
and I love hearing how or asking the question about like why we got started doing what we're doing, because it usually boils down to something intimate or something from the heart or some sort of event in our life that got us to it. So just like Minnie, she got fired from a job, but for you, you got your family history and wanted to change the legacy, and so it's just really cool to be able to hear all that. So yeah, very cool. So Faith Ann, same question goes out to you: who you are, what you do, and what got you started doing what you're doing.
Thank you, JR. I am Faith Ann with the Networkers Tour Guide. Sales teams and business owners hire me to help them network better so that they can grow their businesses through referrals. I started networking on behalf of my other business, Window Cleaning Plus, back in 2017. And it was through networking that we were able to survive COVID as a commercial and residential window cleaning business. We lost much of our commercial, and it was our residential clients that pulled us through, and all of the networking that I had been doing on behalf of Window Cleaning Plus, that we are still in business today. And so in 2023, when we had safely made it through COVID unscathed for the most part, and I wasn't putting out any fires in my commercial and residential window cleaning business, I started writing a blog called The Networker's Tour Guide about teaching people networking skills. Then I started producing digital products like a roadmap for your pitch called Referrals in 60 Seconds to help people navigate their pitches better. And so, just piece by piece, what I was seeing business owners struggle with, much like what Mindy said, that business owners struggle with pieces of their business, like correct insurance and proper choosing the right way to set your business up. What I was seeing is that people were struggling in their networking meetings to build rapport. And I was seeing that they were struggling to be clear when they would stand up and introduce themselves and be clear about the kind of referral they're looking for. And they were struggling with confidence. And so that's what I've built the Networker's Tour Guide to do, is to give those business owners more confidence in rooms full of people that they don't know, and to give them clarity so that when they do stand up and introduce themselves, you don't, when they're finished, you don't wonder, what do they do? Because they haven't been clear. You know exactly, oh, I know, she's looking for my neighbor who has just put up the Christmas lights. That's who she's looking for. And I have a neighbor who just put up my Christmas lights. I should talk to her about. So when we can be clear about the kind of referral we're looking for, we can help ourselves and we can help others. And when we are intentional about helping others, about passing referrals, then that's what networking is all about, is creating opportunities for others so that you have standing to ask for opportunities when you need them. So what started the Networker's Tour Guide was just a gratitude towards networking that pulled me through COVID, and a need to help people network better. We're often told, get out there more. You need to get out there more, but then we're not told how. We're not told what to do, what not to do, pitfalls to avoid, strategies that build rapport. Often business owners are not given these things, and that's what I started the blog and my business and the Networkers Tour Guide podcast to help. And I do want to give a shout out to Mindy. She is excellent, and I would highly recommend any new business owner join her HDC Academy.
Very cool. Love it. Well, Mackenzie, same question goes out to you.
Hi, everyone. I am Mackenzie Morris. I am a business coach and visibility strategist. So I help people build brands that are impossible to ignore. I work with a lot of service-based businesses and personal brands because, like myself, I am a walking, talking billboard for myself because I am the brand. And a lot of times whenever people are building businesses and they're entrepreneurs, they're multi-passionate, right? A lot of them are visionaries. And whenever you're a visionary and you have the gift of vision and you have these ideas, it's really hard to formulate a business around them because you don't know where to start, you don't know where to go. So my job is to come in, help you clarify what that overall big dream, big goal is, and then help you put a plan in place to actually get there. I have the gift of being able to kind of see the future. I can kind of see the process and see the roadmap. And with being an entrepreneur for the past 15 years, I've got the experience. I'm young, but I do have the experiences. I started out really young and I've built multiple businesses on my own. So now I get to do that for others, and that is really incredible. Outside of business, though, my purpose on the planet is to inspire and empower other people by leading by example. I want them to know that they can do it too. You can't have a really awesome, dope business and still have a really cool personal life. You can still be a mom. I'm a mom with a 5 and 3-year-old and still have a social life. You can do everything. You don't have to be put into a box because you yourself are the niche and you are the category. And that's kind of what I specialize in.
I love that. So what got you started in doing what you're doing?
Yeah, so like I said, I started being an entrepreneur when I was really young. I was 12. I had a company called Granada Bites that I got a deal from a company called Davidson Industries. They wanted to help me manufacture this food product. And that didn't go anywhere because my parents did not want to give me $12,000 for manufacturing at that point in my life, which, like, so fair. But ever since then, I've always known I was different. I've always had that entrepreneurial spark kind of inside my body. And I've always been really misunderstood with people around me because they just didn't get it. But really, I had a job at a Fortune 500 construction company called United Rentals. I worked there for 5 years, and while I was there, I started building a wedding company, just on my free time. And then April of 2020 happened. I had my first baby. And the idea of putting him into daycare was already scary, but the fact that there were no daycares open because of a global pandemic, I could not fathom the idea of sending him out into the world. So I was like, okay, we're going all in on the wedding company. I shifted the business model from just doing individual products to an all-inclusive model and really took my business like bottom line average order value from $125 an order to $1,200 to $1,800 an order. And then I scaled into wholesaling and manufacturing and got products in retailers and 47 retailers all over the world. So it was just a whirlwind that all happened really, really fast. But it was one kind of extenuating circumstances that were like, okay, you really don't have another choice. Now you say you wanted this, you say you want the business that you say that you want. Well, now's the time to go show up and show off. So that's what I did. And that was really the inspiration. That was the springboard to what I'm doing now. Because even though the people who were watching the business, maybe they weren't, in the market for wedding PJs and getting ready outfits and preservation services, but they were watching how I built the business and they watched how I moved and how I conducted myself. And that's why whenever I closed that business, I was able to double my total yearly revenue in just 2 months once I scaled and moved over into coaching and strategy.
Love that. Well, congratulations for all the success and what you're building. That's really exciting. For me, guys, my name's JR, and I'm the founder of Business Leaders Network. And I like to lead with my one-day events mastery program, where I help small business owners generate leads, generate more sales, or increase their retention in their business by leveraging micro in-person one-day events. And this has been a process that I learned back in 2007 when I got out of the military. I owned a martial arts school, and my business coach at the time taught me how to create offers, how to leverage events, how to close from the events, and it absolutely changed my life. And from that first experience, I was struggling, barely making $1,000 a month in my martial arts school. And from one event, I closed $270,000 at my one event, and been able to duplicate that process in 7 businesses of my own, and helping a lot of other entrepreneurs do the same. So that's something I love to do. And there's not just one event that fits the category for every single person. There's different. I broke it down in 6 different types of events for depending on what your goal is, and we walk through the process from creating what type of event you're going to do, to the type of the messaging you do, to create your offer, how to sell your offer, how to sell from the stage, how to follow up with everything, so that way you can generate the profits that you need. And so I love events. I host events all the time myself. I'm getting ready to go to Omaha this week to host an event of my own. And I'm always traveling and doing everything, speaking at other people's events, hosting my own events, and using that to really generate the leads and sales to boost my business. And I'm teaching other people how to do the same exact thing. I found it to be one of the fastest ways to generate fast cash and to grow your business is through these micro in-person events. And I say micro events is because there's 30 people or less. Because a lot of people, when they think of events, they think it's like they got to have these hundreds of people that show up to an event or an experience. And that can be overwhelming for that. One, it's a logistics nightmare. But I've also found when it comes to finding spaces, it's a lot easier to find spaces of 30 people or less. And once you start getting about 40 or 50, then it's like, okay, you can either get 30 people or less, or you can have 50 to 200 room. And then when you got that bigger room, now you're paying a lot more money for it. And then there's a lot more involved when it comes to that type of experience. And it's a lot easier to get 30 people or less to a room and to an event, an experience. Some of my most profitable events has 10 people in the room, 10 to 12 people. But having that 30 people or 15 people can create an atmosphere that's both intimate, but also allows you to create an experience where people want to move forward to the next thing. So I got started doing events because that's what my coach told me to do, and it was I found it to be the fastest way to build. And every time I'm looking at how can I generate more revenue, I always go back to events. It works every single time for me, and I absolutely love it. Cool. So the next question that I'm going to be asking you guys is what is your 2026 business growth strategy that you are going to be focusing on going into the new year. And doesn't need to be anything crazy that everyone's following, but what is unique to you that you're going to be focusing on to really help you guys boost revenue and make an impact inside your business. And I'm going to start with Mackenzie, since you were last time.
Sure, absolutely. So in 2026, I am going to be launching a podcast. So I'm really excited to connect with Fritz after this. For me, throughout my entire business journey, like I said, I'm a personal brand. And whenever you're running a personal brand, it can be really hard to figure out how to market yourself because you are typically really multi-passionate, right? So for me, I run a nightlife media page, I do marketing, and then I'm just really visible on social. I like to connect and I'm everywhere doing all of the things all the time. So I'm multifaceted and it's hard to showcase all parts of me online, right? Because the algorithms don't like it and there's rules and all of that stuff, right? We typically get put in like these little boxes. So this idea for moving into a podcast, I feel like is going to give me a platform to showcase all the different types of sides of me because it's my podcast. I can do what I want. I don't have to fit into one specific lane, and it's going to give me a chance to be able to share more of my heart in a more genuine, authentic way rather than 30-second to 1.5-minute videos of me just talking about a strategy or a marketing thing or whatever. It's going to allow me to elaborate more and share more of my thought process and my perspective and just how I view the world. And that's kind of what makes me special. People always tell me that and quite literally a joke, that I am the personality hire, right? I'm great at what I do. Everyone should be great at what they do. It's kind of the bare minimum, right? But what sets me apart is my energy. And that's why people come to me, right? They want a little spark in their business and in their life and some color and some fun. And that's definitely what I bring. So I'm excited to kind of launch this podcast and share a new side of myself.
Cool. Well, I can speak firsthand on Michael Fritz. He is passionate about what he does, and he's really good at helping people get booked on other people's podcasts and getting bookings on people's podcasts and marketing it. So you guys definitely should connect. Very cool.
Yep.
Mindy, let's go to you. So share with us what is your growth strategy for 2026? What are you going to be focusing on?
Something that I do a lot in my business, and it's one of my pillars in my business is value. I am always looking for ways to add value. So I'm just taking a more intentional role about doing more webinars, doing more workshops, spending more time, creating those kind of environments. So next week, I'm going to a homeschool. It's a bunch of high school kids who are all homeschooled, but they're going to college and they're thinking about starting businesses. And so they reached out to me and, would you want to come in and teach a class? I'm like, I would love to come in and teach a class. So I, just stuff like that, because that's the part of me that just brings me the most joy. And I love those aha moments. I love when people go, I didn't even know I needed to do that, or I had no concept that was even a thing, so that's what brings me joy. So I'm with you, JR. If I can sit down, get a webinar going, I can get 30 to 50 people in a room, I'm always closing. So that puts me in a very easy environment. Mackenzie is my COO and she kills it. I mean, I could not do this without her. She helps me so much in the backside of this business and getting me promoted and all my ads and my market. She's, and I have other people, but Mackenzie does a lot for me in my business, and I'm so thankful for her every day and what she does, and helps me get the exposure I need in order to continue to grow, because my goal is never to be sitting behind this computer, right? My goal is to be out creating space, adding value, giving those aha moments and letting people feel confident in who they are and what they're wanting to do and not scared. So that's what I'm always trying to do.
I love that. And we have someone in our BLN community, Amanda Schickenberger, that works with homeschool families and stuff like that. She'd be a great contact if you want to go in there. But I would love to make that connection for you, or Fritz can, please. So one of us can. But she'd be someone that's amazing for you to get in there to talk to them. I didn't even think about talking to homeschoolers for it. I mean, we homeschool our kids. We got 4 and homeschool the baby, he's 2. He's not doing anything but running around causing trouble, but still.
Start them young.
Yeah, but my goal with every single one of them, I said, okay, we're in a homeschool. Every single one of them is going to have a successful business before they turn 18, of generating $100,000 or more a year before they do that. And And even if they don't pursue entrepreneurship after they graduate, that's totally fine. They can do whatever they want, but they will learn the skills of building a business, and then they can go off and do whatever they want. So, love that. Cool, Mr. Fritz. Why don't you tell us more about your growth strategy for 2026?
Yeah, so my growth strategy has actually gotten a lot more holistic, and this is fairly recent, but I'm realizing that a lot of people that come to me that want to get booked on shows, when I dig deeper and ask them about their offer, they don't really have a clear one. They've got a la carte menu, like, a number 23 with a side of mushrooms, and it's like everybody picks what they want. And it's like, all right, well, if they're not really clear on what it is that they're doing, like solving the problem, not the symptoms that their clients are coming to them with, but the actual honest to God problem that results in those symptoms, they don't really have a solid offer. And this is really what causes a lot of people to get burned in the podcasting world. They guest on dozens or hundreds of shows, and you ask them, how many shows you been on? Oh, I've been on 368 shows. I haven't gotten a dime of business. I don't know why I do that. Well, because there's lack of clarity with the offer. So there's a fair amount of business coaching, funnel coaching, nurturing, how to build a nurturing environment like these. Okay. Getting your stories dialed in. And then once you have all that foundational stuff, then let's get you booked on some shows, fam. It works a whole lot better. And I'm planning on doing a quarterly event, not really a micro event, but maybe a mini event, not like a studio, like a stadium packed out, 10,000 people, but 50, it's outside of that weight class. But I'm wanting to do one of those every single quarter here in St. Louis. And I'm thinking I'm going to see if I can mobilize my network to do something more locally, like places where I can't get to, do something in DC, do something in Orlando, wherever it is, like just find out where the pockets are. Because I've got a really cool network. I got some diehard fans that are coming alongside, helping me nurture my own network with my weekly calls that happen on Mondays. And there's just some real jewels in there. And I'm like, I want to support them somehow. I want to make something that they can dig into that, still funnels up toward me, but it helps meet them where they are. That seems a little bit unclear. It's kind of not really a pipe dream. I don't have a lot of clarity on that yet, but at least do a quarterly summit here in St. Louis. That's the main thing. That's clear. That is crystal clear.
Sounds like that you got some help from someone. Love it.
Yeah. You, all right? I learned it by watching you.
No, that's really cool. I love it. Let's go to Melissa. What are some of your growth strategies for going in the new year?
For me, my plan is to book speaking events or like where there'd be small business owners. Another one is being on more podcasts, and also having more intimate specialty networking events with a theme for small business owners, where we could also be really good referral partners for each other, and really building a stronger referral network.
Very cool. Love that. Faith Ann.
So one of the offers that I'm launching in February and March of 2026 is a buying signals masterclass. Very excited. So in networking, we have the ditches on two sides of the road. The first ditch is we don't want to be the salesy person. So that's a ditch. If you're too forward, if you're just passing your business cards out like candy, that's one side that we want to avoid. But yeah, right. In an effort to avoid the other side, in an effort to avoid that, we sometimes are afraid to pick up on buying signals. We're afraid to check when we're talking to that plumber, when we're talking to that photographer, when we're talking to that real estate agent, and they say something and we think, I wonder if they're interested in working with me. Oh, no, I can't. I don't want to be that person. And so we don't say anything. So this is an 8-week class to show people who network how to pick up on buying signals, to know what kinds of things might be buying signals. And then once we have heard something that might be a buying signal, how do we easily move the conversation in that direction to check to see if it's a buying signal without breaking rapport? And it's based off of Nikki Rausch's book, Buying Signals. And so she and I have an agreement, and she's graciously going to let me have this mastermind, use her book for the mastermind. So that's a great growth strategy. And another thing it's not new, but it's something that I've been doing for a couple of years. And it's a great way to bring people to me on a lazy river instead of making them hike up a mountain to get to me, is a Facebook group where I go live weekly for networking tips and tricks. So I am giving so much value in this Facebook group because people know, because I'm consistently showing up every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Central Time in the Networkers Tour Guide Facebook group. I come in for 15, 20 minutes and give networking tips and tricks. And that has brought a lot of people into my ecosystem. And it's something that I don't plan on stopping.
I love that. Very cool. Mackenzie, did you share?
I did. Yes, I am going to be focused on building a podcast for 2020.
Oh, that's right. I forget. I didn't go to Mindy, so we got Mindy that still needs to go for this one.
No, I went to. We're doing more workshops.
Oh, so we got everyone.
JR, what are you doing for 26?
We got everyone? How did I miss that? I am so sorry. Okay, cool. So
math ain't math, bro.
Yeah, so for 2026, I'm dialing in, doing events. But one thing I love about hearing the trend with everyone is we're leveraging other people's networks. And so the fastest way to grow your network is leveraging other people's networks. And that's through podcasting, that's through workshops, that's through summits, that's through speaking at other people's events, doing things like this, doing your own events where you can invite people to. And so they're all good things to be able to fill your pipeline, but also connect with other people in the great aspect. And so for me, that's what I'm doing. Like, I'm doing a combination of what you guys are doing, but my big thing is every month I'm going to be doing probably 1 or 2 events every single month somewhere in the country, in-person experiences. I'm going to be, speaking at other people's events, but mainly just dialing in my own stuff, from experience type of events where people get to come and I'm providing the space, and it could be just a fun bonfire, get together type shenanigan, or a workshop or a summit, or possibly doing like a, one thing I've done in the past for, a couple years straight was I rented a big mansion in Florida, and we do a whole Disney experience. And that's like a week thing. Melissa's been to, both of them, I think, right? Or just one? Just
Was
one?
it one?
Just
Yeah,
one?
it was awesome.
Yeah, so we do a helicopter ride. We do a walk through Disney. We really talk about, the vision of Walt Disney and do it. And it's like a 4 or 5 day experience, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm thinking about possibly doing one towards the end of the year, not in Disney, but somewhere else, and just trying to map it out. But it will be a huge, hugely, everything's going to be surrounded around events. And then, probably podcasting, getting back out there and doing that. I built a really big podcast years ago and had more than millions of followers and subscribers and downloads and stuff like that. But just, I want to think of something a little bit more different, and for the audience I'm serving right now. So that's what I'm doing, dialing in on events and really helping other people do the same thing, and just creating that experience and connections. Because I feel like, I think Mindy said that, where, get out from behind that computer. I hate sitting behind the computer all the time. I like to be out there connecting, shaking hands, loving on people, and just building those real connections. So that's one piece where I love to do. All right, let's go into the next piece. And this one is fun because you get to brag on your success. So what I want you to do right now is share one of your best client success stories. And I know we all have many, but just think about one. So there's one that you can share that comes to mind, and just really brag on yourself. Talk about where your clients started when they started with you, what you've been able to help them to achieve, and maybe a little bit of the process of what you've been able to do that. And let's start with Faith Ann.
Thanks, JR.
Yeah.
So I'm working with a client right now, and she and I have Voxer access, and what we're working on is clarity for her when she's at her networking meeting. And I have a phrase that I commonly talk about, and it's called a Tasmanian devil pitch. So when yeah, Mindy knows, when you hear the photographer stand up at the networking meeting. And remember, we're only talking about 1 minute or 30 seconds, not 10 minutes. We're talking about you have a 1 minute, and they say, I can take your wedding photos, and I can take your baby photos, and I can take your family photos. And by the way, here's my side project. And it's like a Tasmanian devil. And by the time they are done, they've said so much that people can't really, they don't have a clear picture of one kind of person that you help. And so I was able to work with her about getting very narrowly focused on the kind of referral that she would like to have, even though she does help many kinds of people. Many of us, when we go into entrepreneurship, we go in because we want to help all kinds of different people. So we have all these offers. But when you have a minute, it's best to go down deep instead of going shallow. Go down deep on one person and let people get a real sense of the kind of referral you're looking for. And so she sent me a Voxer message. I think it was last week, and she said, Faith Ann, I got a compliment on my pitch. They said that I was clear. They knew exactly the kind of referral I was looking for, and I just had to tell you. And so that was very, very fun to hear. It was a fun Voxer message to hear.
That is so important to know, because you're either gonna waste your time losing all the ears and getting no opportunities, or you can get everyone that's be able to do it. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I tune out when people talk about their pitches because they're talking about a million different things. It's like, just tell me that one thing, and then I don't need to hear everything else. Just what's that one thing? What's that one person I can help connect you with or be able to give? So I love that. Congratulations on that success. That's really cool.
Thank you.
Mackenzie, tell us one client success story, and where were they at when they started with you, and what did you help them achieve?
Yeah, I have a client. I have been working with her for a while, and whenever she first started working with me, she had this idea. She wanted to put her business on the map and put Oklahoma on the map for lash training. So she is a lash girly. She's got 18 certifications, and she's just literally the best in the industry, does my lashes. And whenever she came to me, she wanted to put Oklahoma on the map, and she was consistently making maybe $2,000 a month. And she didn't really have a wait list, and she had this dream of having retail products in her salon. And whenever she started and we started working through everything, we figured out what her vision was and how she wanted to put Oklahoma on the map. And she wanted to train the lash artists to learn the technique that she has. And now she is consistently closing $8,000 to $10,000 a month. She sells retail products inside of her salon. She just hired her first employee, and she now only works 2 days a week. And she's doing trainings all throughout the state and does multiple a month. And her books are completely booked. And she is booked out, I think, until May of next year. And she just signed on for another 12-month contract with me. It is just the coolest thing. And I was telling my husband about that the other day. He was like, she just hired a person. She works 2 days now. I'm like, yeah, babe. Like, this is the transformation that we've had. And it really was just the culmination of getting really clear on what she wanted to do and what the goal was and who she wanted to serve. Yes, she loves her clients, but she knows that she can impact more people if she can train more artists to be incredible at what they do. So there's no scarcity mindset. There's no competition, because she's collaborating and she's teaching others how to be great and fantastic also. That has trickled down into her business as well, because positioning herself as an educator for lash techs also elevates that authority for clients, right? If she's teaching all the other lash techs in the area, I want to go to her because they're learning from her. So I want the best of the best, and I'm going to go to her. So that's been one of the coolest transformation stories in my business.
I love that. That's awesome. Congratulations. Melissa, tell us one of your best transformation stories.
So one of my best transformation stories, I started working with a business owner, who he was at about $1 million in revenue. And he was very frustrated because he's like, I don't understand. Like, my net income's like $200,000 a year, but I have all this debt and I just can't seem to get out of it. So, one of the first things that I often do is I help business owners be able to understand a profit and loss versus a cash flow. And when we went through that process, what we ended up realizing was, you know, he's like, I have 200,000 in net income, but we quickly realized he actually, like from a cash flow perspective, was in the negative, like over $30,000 a year, because he had loans that he was paying off. He was taking withdrawals from the business. So it was like a light bulb went off, and he had about $60,000 in personal debt and $60,000 in business debt. So we created a plan for him to be able to like pay down all the debt. There was some debt that it was like, it's fine to have it. It's a low interest rate and you have, you know, 10 years to pay it. We're going to take that. But there was some other debt that he had very high interest. And within I think it's like a 6-month period, we got him to pay down all of his business debt. And he really lucked up. He was coming up with a plan for his personal debt. And he was so lucky. He ended up basically getting someone able to secure paying all his debt so that he could get a very low interest rate. He had like 20% interest that he was paying on his personal debt, and he got it down to like 4%. And he created a plan where he'll be able to have that paid off in the next 3 years. So, and that really, he was just like, it just gave him like freedom, and a huge weight off of his shoulder, to be able to do that and have a plan where he was like really clear. Cause ultimately, his goal is to be able to sell his business and position him for that. So it's like really creating that plan. Like I said, it's like, I want to help people retire when they desire and really build the plan for them.
That is life-changing. I love that. Congratulations. Huge success story. Mindy.
Yeah, I would say again, I do a lot of education, but I also do a lot of strategy sessions with business owners. People come to me and they're just stuck. You know, they don't understand what's happening. They don't understand why their business isn't working. What am I doing wrong? And, you know, I tell people, book a strategy session. We'll sit down and we're going to talk through it, right? Like, what are you struggling with? So I had someone, she called me. She had just opened a business. She'd been in business 9 months. She was, her hours were 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day of the week. And I sat down and just kind of started running through the stuff that I think through of, okay, well, how much money are we making here? How much money are we making here? Why are we open 7 days a week? How are you taking care of your mental health? How are you taking care of your physical health? Right. I mean, so we kind of started down this rabbit hole. And I remember by the end of that call, I said that this is what I want you to do. And I want you to give me 30 days. I said, that's all I want you to do. I want you to give me 30 days. I want you to change your office hours. I want you to close 1 day a week, whatever day of the week that is for you. I don't care what it is. I want you to close because you need a day. Like this, right? And we all say that this is hard. Like if this was easy, everyone on the planet would be doing this. Your mental and emotional health is just as important as making money. More so in my opinion. But I said, that's what I want you to do. I want you to shut your doors 1 day a week, right? Pick a day. And then I want you to change your hours from 10 to 8 to 10 to 8. So you only have to have one person there the entire time, because at 10 to 8, you have to have 2 staff, right? I was like, that's what I want you to do. That opens up every morning. Instead of going in at 10, now you're going in at noon. So you have more time to build your business, network correctly, actually have some time off. And I said, give me 30 days. And she did it. And she is now 1.5 years in. Her revenue increased 30%. I started seeing her at a ton of networking events. I mean, like, and she said that conversation changed my life. She said, because in my head, it was like, I'm going to do this for a year. And this is how I know I'm going to make it. And she's like, the second you went and you gave me permission to make changes, and I did it. And that's why I was like, 30 days. Like, if it doesn't work in 30 days, go back. Like, and I think that's something I talk about all the time is, if you are not changing your business, if you are not fluid in your business, you are sinking your own business, because that is all we do. Like, we have to adapt daily, monthly, quarterly, because things change, right? We all know that. So that is something I did, and I was really proud. And just every time I see her, and she's in the academy now, and but she, she said, she was like, that one phone call changed the entire trajectory of my business. And I'm just really happy for her, and just to see how much she's thriving now makes me very, very happy. So
That's life changing. You know, it's funny how a lot of people feel like they need permission from other people to make a change.
yeah.
And you gave that to her, and then now she's thriving and doing really well. So that's really cool. Congratulations, Mr. Fritz.
So my most recent client is someone who has known for a couple of years that she's going to work with me. I didn't realize that until a few months ago, right before she pulled the trigger. She is in the neuroscience space, and she works with people who are neurospicy. They're either on the autism spectrum, they've got ADHD, maybe a mix of both. So she tends to work with a lot of entrepreneurs. And the way she does that is she uses artwork. It's called NeuroDraw. It's a trademarked thing. It's registered. And what you do is you actually can draw out the neurons that you want to construct in your mind. It's a mix of visualization, but it's also, fine motor control and a little bit of like just scribble, and then, okay, we're going to figure out, and then we color it. And there's a lot of science behind it, and it works. So I know you're asking about like transformational with her, and I'll share about that here. But when she started working with me, the main reason why was because I get her. I understand her. I understand the deep need, the desire to get on shows in a way that is out of the box. Like if she were to do it herself, she'd probably find a bunch of shows that talk about brain science, and it would just get lost in the noise. Instead, let's figure out, okay, where else are they listening? Are there parents that are dealing with kids that have these tendencies? Would that be a good audience? They're probably not hearing about NeuroDraw at all. For them, it's a new thing. And it's like, oh, hey, this is new and fresh. Let's listen in. It's a pattern interrupt. It's very out of the box. She's like, you get me, Fritz. You understand me. You know where I'm coming from. And then on the flip side of it, I did the exercise. We spent 2 hours the other day, and I drew one of the neurons, the mappings that she taught me how to do. And it really does work. It opens up things in my mind. Like I was able to visualize goals a lot faster, and I got to color, which how often do we as adults take time to sit down and color unless you're like voluntold to do it by your kids? Like, mommy, daddy, time to color. It's like, okay, I guess I got a time to make the donuts. But to voluntarily do it and know that it's actually working to build bridges in your brain, holy gee whiz, it's awesome. This is what gets me out of bed in the morning. It's like I get to meet cool people, but I'm open to them building into me just as much as they're open to me building into them. And it's great.
I love that. Great story. Absolutely awesome. Well, for me, I have a ton of stories, but I'll just share one. And I share this like everywhere. I had this one client of mine about 5-6 years ago or something like that, and she came to me. It was in the beginning of December, and she was already planning to host an event. And just like most entrepreneurs, like, oh yeah, I can host an event, I can do a workshop, I can do all these different things. But the problem is, most people don't know how to make money from an event. Like everyone knows how to do an event. It's like, okay, yeah, they go do an event. Let's just how hard can it be? You just bring people together, you show up, you do a presentation, you do an offer, you do all these things, and you help manage and host, and there's not that much. But I can guarantee you that I don't know the math, but a higher percentage of entrepreneurs that host events, a bigger percentage, probably close to 100 or 90% or 80% or whatever like that, lose money from doing events. All of them do. Because they don't know how to create offers, they don't know how to present, they don't know the fundamentals when it comes to hosting an event, which is why I created this. Because I get a lot of people that dismiss me because they're like, well, I already know how to do an event. How hard is that? But you're not making money. And if you're not making money, you're not generating leads, you're not doing it right, therefore you need that help. And so this one client, she came to me and she already was hosting this event, and I tore apart her entire thing. And the first thing that I had to do was change her belief, because she didn't believe that she was worth the price that I told her she should be selling her offers for, because she had the skill set, she was doing it, and she was, I forget what it was, but let's just say she was wanting to sell a $2,000 offer or whatever like that. And I was like, that's great, but the market is buying it at this price. And so we changed her offer. It was from like 2,000 to, I made her sell it for 10,000 or 12,000 or whatever. I forget the exact math of what it was. But I did that. So I had to change her belief. The second thing was I had to change her offer. So we switched her belief, then switched her offer, and then the third thing was switch her message. And so we had to change her entire presentation, what she was going to do, change her entire belief in her offer, what she was doing. And she walked away with $109,000 in new contract sales from that one event. It was like a 2 or 3 hour workshop that she did, and she closed $109,000 from that event. And a lot of it was boiled down to just changing a lot of the basics. If she would have continued doing with what she was already doing, she probably would have maybe closed $10,000 at best. And that changed her entire next year for her business that she launched. And she's still doing really well, helping women entrepreneurs with online, digital marketing and stuff like that. And she's doing really cool things. And so with that, I love teaching people how to leverage micro in-person events on how to generate more sales and have these transformations like that. I mean, I have clients all the time that are doing $23,000, $12,000, $109,000, $50,000 from events. And so it is possible. And which brings us to our next question that I'm going to have everyone. I'll just kind of start with it since I'm already on the platform. Is who is our best client that we want to work with, and then what's the next steps on how they can connect with you? And so for me, I love working with speakers, coaches, and service-based professionals. So if they're a speaker that are trying to get on more stages or creating their own stages, or coaches that are in the business coaches, fitness coaches, relationship coaches, financial coaches, or service-based professionals that wants to leverage their experiences through micro one-day events, those are people I want to connect with. And the next step is to really download my free giveaway, which is my one-day events blueprint, a conversion blueprint. And you guys can go to www.theonedayevent.com. So that's theonedayevent.com. Go there, download it, and I literally map out exactly the things that you need to do, following my core method on how to launch your next profitable event. And that's what I do, and the best way to connect with me. So let's go to Mindy. What is the best way for someone to connect with you, and who do you want to connect with?
Yeah, you can absolutely. I'm always looking for new business owners, primarily. I would say under $1 million a year, service or product based. HDCacademy.org is where I would send you. That's my platform. That's where I'm trying to get everyone to go. So yeah, that's probably the easiest way to find me and how I can help you the most. So
cool. Mackenzie, who is the best client for you, and then where's the best way to connect?
Yeah, y'all can find me on any type of socials. I'm literally everywhere. You can go to mackenziemorris.co, download a free Fearless Action Blueprint, which will guide you through one of my signature processes, which is great. So go and snag that. That's awesome. And then I love working with service-based business owners who primarily have experiences. So whether you are doing some sort of event or you're a creative, and you have some sort of passion like lashes or art or something like that. I work with a lot of creative people. And if you have a personal brand, so coaches, again, creators, anyone like that as well.
Very cool. Love that. Melissa, who do you want to connect with, and what's the best way?
For me, it would be working with trade type of companies, plumbing, electrical, construction, professional services like realtors, architects, engineers, medical, dental, daycare, where probably in the range to $1 million to $30 million in revenue. Maybe they have a bookkeeper, but they don't actually have a financial strategist that's actually working with them moving forward. Because a lot of time bookkeepers just give you the numbers. I interpret the numbers, do the financial analysis, and making sure that they understand the numbers and that they can grow in a manner that they really want to, and that they understand how much cash that they're actually generating per year. Oh, and connecting with me, I put my information in the chat for my Facebook and LinkedIn and my email. So would love to stay connected with everybody.
Cool. And Faith Ann. Oh, you're muted.
A good referral for me would be a nurse who has decided to go out on her own, and maybe she's a naturopath or a mental health professional who has been working for somebody for many years and is deciding now to go into private practice and has been told, you need to get out there. You need to market yourself. And they say, yeah, I've been an employee for years. I don't even know what that means. I just go to work. That would be a perfect client for me for a couple of reasons. The first is because often those medical professionals use lots of jargon when they talk about their business, and they lose people when they start using jargon. So I help get the jargon out of their pitches and out of their just general referral conversations. And just knowing how to network can be scary if you've only been an employee. Because you don't have to worry where the work's coming from. You're given the work, but it can be daunting to say, okay, now I want to branch out on my own. And people say, well, get yourself out there. So I would be a nice guide for that kind of person, just to really give them a roadmap of how to get themselves out there and how to talk about how they serve clients. And you can connect with me at thenetworkerstourguide.net. And I have a 10 questions to ask in a one-to-one, which is at thenetworkerstourguide.net/resources. It's a free download.
Cool. Love that. Thank you. And Mr. Fritz.
So best kind of people for me, they're fairly easy to find. It's business owners who have been a guest on a podcast before to further their business, and they've gotten lackluster results. It's easy to find them. Know a business owner, just ask them, hey, you ever guest on podcasts before? And they'll either go, yeah, or they'll go, yeah. Okay, either way, I'd love to talk with them, because what I do is I host a weekly call on Mondays at 11 called the Podcom Huddle. And it's a free networking group, but it's educational. I put a lot of real key insights, like mind-changing, pattern interrupting things about, well, try this instead of what you've been doing that obviously is not working. Let's quit banging your head and doing it this way. There's been a lot of mental shifts in that group. The website is podcastify.me. There's a button a little bit way about 3 sections down that says ready to huddle. That's the one. And just click the button and sign up. Everybody here is invited too. I mean, obviously. So if y'all want to come to that, I would love to see you. Not JR though. That dude just harshes the flow. It's a girls only thing. I'm kidding. You should come, dude. You should come to my thing. Why you ain't coming to my thing?
The time. So
it's noon o'clock your time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, everyone, thank you so much for jumping on here today, and for all you listeners. Hopefully you guys gained some value and some new connections, and love for anyone listening and watching to really take the time to connect with everyone that's on this call, schedule that one-on-one, download our free giveaways, and really help move forward in 2026 to make it amazing. So thank you everyone for jumping on here today, and to everyone listening, Semper Fi.